What would you do if you saw someone dancing in the street? Not smiling, not celebrating, not listening to music, but moving as if their body had forgotten how to stop. At first, you might think they were drunk. Then you might think they were joking. But eventually, you would notice something terrifying. They are not dancing for joy. They are dancing because they cannot control their own body. In the summer of 1518, in the city of Strasbourg, this exact scene unfolded. Not once, not twice, but hundreds of times. People danced for hours, and they danced for days. They danced until their feet bled, their hearts failed, and their bodies collapsed. Some never stood up again. This is the true story of the dancing plague of 1518. One of the strangest and most unsettling events ever recorded. To understand how something so bizarre could happen, we must first step into the world of early 16th century Europe. Life was brutal. Famine had struck repeatedly. Crops failed. Bread was scarce. Entire families survived on almost nothing. Hunger was not occasional. It was constant. Disease was everywhere. There were no antibiotics, no understanding of bacteria or viruses. Illness was often sudden, painful, and fatal. Religion dominated every aspect of life. People believed disasters were messages from God. If something went wrong, it was because humanity had sinned. Fear lived in the air. So did exhaustion. Strasbourg, a crowded medieval city in the Holy Roman Empire, was under intense pressure. The summer of 1518 was unusually hot. Streets were narrow. Homes were cramped. Stress had nowhere to escape. And when pressure has nowhere to go, it finds a way out. On a quiet July morning, a woman known to history as Frau Trophäa stepped out of her home. Without music, without warning, she began to dance. Her movements were awkward, stiff, and disturbing. This was not a graceful dance. It looked painful, forced, as if her muscles were pulling her against her will. Hours passed. Neighbors gathered. Some laughed nervously. Others prayed. By evening, her feet were swollen. Her breathing was heavy. Sweat poured down her face. Still, she did not stop. When night fell and morning came, she was still dancing. This was no performance. This was no celebration. This was the moment Strasbourg realized something was terribly wrong. Within days, others joined her. At first, it was a handful of people, then dozens, then entire streets filled with uncontrollable movement. Men and women twisted and staggered through the city. Some screamed in pain, some cried, some begged for help. Witnesses reported people collapsing from exhaustion, only to stand again moments later and resume dancing, as if their bodies had reset. Children were not spared. At its height, records suggest up to 15 people were dying every day. Heart attacks, strokes, total physical collapse. The city was watching its people die in motion. City leaders were overwhelmed. There was no medical explanation. Doctors were helpless. No treatment worked. So officials turned to belief. They concluded the dancers were cursed, punished by Saint Vitus, a figure associated with uncontrollable movement. According to this belief, stopping the dance would anger the curse even more. And so they made a decision that would haunt history. They built wooden stages. They hired musicians. They encouraged dancing. Their logic was simple and tragic. Let them dance it out. Instead, music acted like fuel. More people joined. The dancing intensified. Death followed faster. What began as fear turned into mass chaos. As bodies piled up, Strasbourg turned to prayer. Churches filled with frightened citizens begging for forgiveness. Many believed this was divine punishment for sins they could not even identify. Eventually, the city reversed course. Music was banned. Dancers were removed from public view and escorted out of the city to a remote mountain shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus. There, isolated, cared for, and away from the crowd, something changed. Slowly, the dancing stopped. Even today, historians debate the cause. Some suggest poisoned rye bread containing a hallucinogenic fungus. Others believe extreme stress triggered a phenomenon known as mass psychogenic illness, where psychological trauma spreads through a population and manifests physically. The most accepted explanation today is this: Strasbourg did not lose its mind all at once. It broke slowly. Hunger, fear, disease, faith, hopelessness. The human body became the outlet for a mind that could no longer cope. No war destroyed Strasbourg. No army invaded. No earthquake struck. What brought the city to its knees was invisible. The dancing plague of 1518 reminds us that history is not only shaped by battles and rulers, but by the fragile limits of the human mind. And sometimes, when people are pushed too far, their bodies speak before their voices ever can. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe.